Tomorrow, President Trump will welcome the president of Mexico to the White House. There are more than 215,000 official cases of coronavirus in Mexico, the second highest total in Latin America. More than 20,000 have died. But Mexico's government acknowledges that is a severe undercount. We sent camera crews across the country, and Nick Schifrin reports on the failures of the Mexican government to contain COVID.
Outside the northern city of Juarez, children who have nothing get their food from the man in the mask.
Gracias.
He's not from the government. His mask is not only for COVID. He's a member of La Nueva Empresa drug cartel.
Nosotros el coronavirus no lo vamos a atacar, no.
The coronavirus is killing people like crazy, and we want to do something. People are a little desperate, having a hard time.
No hay trabajo, no hay dinero.
There are no jobs, there is no money, people are worn out.
This so-called narco-philanthropy is designed to spread goodwill to protect smuggling routes. The cartels are the only source of help because the government is largely absent.
For us, it is very good because we need it right now. There's not much work. With all that's happening, it's a blessing.
The shops are far away, and if you take a look, there's no police. So this is a good place to work.
But Mexico's become a bad place to die. 1,000 miles south in Mexico City, smoke rises from a crematorium that COVID's made all too busy. Judith hasn't grieved. She's too angry.
They gave me a paper that says she had lung problems, and after 2 days she died from COVID problems. But they never proved anything to me. Nothing.
Nada.
In Judith's hands, she holds her mother's remains. She blames the government for failing to protect people.
The government says that all you need is the picture of a saint, and with that you are going to be fine. But what's the picture of a saint going to do for me?
It actually wasn't a saint. It was a religious amulet.
Stop, enemy, for the heart of Jesus is with me.
That's Mexico's president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, in mid-March, suggesting his good luck charms and advice could protect Mexico from COVID.
The protective shield is honesty, not to allow corruption.
At first, AMLO, as he's widely known, flouted his own government's social distancing recommendations. He's declined to be tested until this trip to the U.S. because he's had no symptoms, and he refused to wear a mask.
If I come here wearing a mask, how are the people going to feel? I have to keep the people's spirits up.
Since then, Mexico's taken the threat more seriously. The government closed the country's borders and ordered schools and all non-essential businesses shut. But as soon as he could, AMLO restarted his own travel. On June the 1st, he reopened the country by launching a government-funded train that takes tourists to indigenous ruins.
Llega en buen momento.
This comes at a good time. In these times, due to the coronavirus pandemic, we need to reactivate the economy.
AMLO focused on signature infrastructure projects, but refused to increase direct government spending on Mexicans or their businesses. That's forced the more than half the workforce in the informal economy to ignore stay-at-home orders. Lorena Torres is an entrepreneur. Right now, she sells masks out of the back of a car.
There are countries where the government has an infrastructure to support the citizens through something like this, right? To send them home and only worry about taking care of their family and their health. Many of us don't have that support.
And the government wasn't strong enough to resist American pressure in an entire industry near the U.S. border. The factories where Mexican workers make parts for American companies. After the government tried to close them, hundreds of American business leaders wrote they produced essential products and should stay open with social distancing and personal protective equipment. And U.S. Ambassador to Mexico, Christopher Landau, tweeted in Spanish, "You don't have workers if you close all the companies and they go elsewhere." Some factories never closed at all, and this man's mother caught COVID and died.
The company never sent her home. The company never ever cared about her health. My mother and the other workers should have gone home as soon as they issued the federal decree.
Outside a factory complex, an activist filmed workers so desperate to earn money, they said they were too scared to reveal dangerous conditions.
There have been cases in this plant already, and nobody says anything out of fear. Seatbelts for a golf cart. They're claiming that they make seatbelts for ambulances and for medical use. That is a big lie.
These videos were filmed by labor lawyer Susana Prieto Terrazas, who urged workers to walk out of factories not taking COVID-19 seriously.
They are pretending they are complying with sanitary regulations when there are inspections. And when the inspector leaves, they make all the workers work shoulder to shoulder, side by side, with a massive risk of contagion.
A few days later, Terrazas posted this video as she was arrested.
Gracias.
She was charged with inciting riots. She sat for this interview before being arrested.
I think U.S. companies behaved as unscrupulous as they always have. It demonstrated the lack of authority of the president and his cabinet and the indifference of American businessmen and politicians who have influence in this country.
Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard insisted the government ignored American pressure and stuck to its own reopening schedule.
We're in a global value chain, but Mexico's priority is the health and protection of the sick people. Mexico will follow its calendar.
But the Mexican government has also failed to resist U.S. pressure here in camps near the U.S. border. Central American migrants live in flimsy tents, cramped close together because the Trump administration's Remain in Mexico statute. They apply for asylum in the U.S. but have to wait here, a policy accepted by the Mexican government. And just last week, an asylum seeker in this camp caught COVID. 23-year-old Yolanda fled gang violence in Guatemala. She now fears disease.
I am afraid, especially when they distribute the food. The people from outside who come in never wear face masks.
Alicias Joel is also from Guatemala.
We are exposed not only to coronavirus, but to many diseases. We are not living in ideal hygienic conditions. We live in fear because we are here, and we don't know when this nightmare will end.
Mexico's coronavirus nightmare has been scary and deadly. Mexicans have lost their faith in the government's ability to contain COVID. And as high as the fatality numbers are officially, the actual number might be double. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.